All right. Have you ever thought about all the engineering and testing that goes into a simple dining chair?
Well,
Like one you just pull up to your kitchen table?
yeah.
We're diving into the world of furniture quality control today, and specifically we're talking dining chairs.
Okay.
Get ready to see these everyday objects in a whole new light.
It's true. We do tend to take chairs for granted, don't we?
Yeah.
But their quality
Yeah.
can really make or break a brand's reputation. It affects customer satisfaction and can even become a safety issue.
It can, for sure. And speaking of experts, our deep dive today is inspired by an article by Sunbin Key, who
Okay.
is the CEO of ASKT, a furniture
Mhm.
manufacturer that specializes in the European market.
All right.
He really gets into why quality matters, and trust me, it's way more than just avoiding wobbly
Oh,
legs.
absolutely.
Uh,
Key emphasizes that in today's online world, one bad chair can set off a chain reaction.
hmm.
Yeah, think about it. People leave reviews, they share their experiences, retailers talk amongst themselves. Suddenly, a single quality issue can snowball into a PR nightmare for a brand.
So you're saying even if a company's doing mostly good work,
hmm
one bad chair can really damage their reputation.
It certainly can. And it's not just about online reviews either. There's also the legal side of things. Meeting safety standards like EN 112520, which is a big deal in the EU,
hmm
isn't optional.
EN 12520, what does that cover?
That standard sets requirements for things like stability and strength and durability. Basically, it ensures that the chair won't collapse under you and can withstand years of use.
Oh, okay. So working with a supplier who already understands these regulations could save you a lot of hassle down the line.
Exactly. And then we can't forget the financial aspect. Tim makes a compelling argument about how investing in quality up front actually saves money in the long run. Fewer returns, fewer warranty claims, and happier customers who are more likely to come back for more.
It's like that old saying, buy
Yeah.
nice or buy twice.
Exactly. A well-made chair might have a slightly higher price tag initially, but it'll pay dividends over its lifespan.
Okay, so let's kind of unpack this a bit further. Key goes deep into the specifics of what makes a quality chair,
Yeah,
and he starts with the frame. He really emphasizes that whether it's wood, metal, or even a composite material, the construction of the frame is really key.
he's absolutely right. For metal frames, you want to look for strong welds. And for wooden frames, the type of wood used is crucial. Solid hardwoods, like oak or maple, are generally considered the most durable. And then there's the joinery.
Joinery, that sounds kind of technical.
It's just a fancy word for how the pieces of the chair frame are connected. Think dovetail joints, mortise, and tenon. These are techniques that have been used for centuries to create strong, lasting connections. It's not just slapping some wood together and calling it a day.
Right. I remember when my cousin, he bought this cheap chair online and the legs literally buckled under him during a family dinner.
Oh.
It was super embarrassing and it could have been dangerous. We definitely learned a lesson about the importance of a good frame the hard way.
Ouch, yeah. That sounds painful. And it really highlights why a poorly constructed frame can be a recipe for disaster. And it's not just the frame itself. The hardware holding it all together is just as important.
Really? You mean those tiny little screws and bolts? They
Yeah.
really make that much of a difference.
Absolutely. Key emphasizes the importance of using high-quality metals, like stainless steel. This helps prevent corrosion, which is especially important in places like kitchens where things can get humid. Imagine a chair leg slowly unscrewing itself while you're eating. Yikes.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
So those screws and bolts, they need to be strong and properly installed?
Precisely. They need to be properly aligned and tightened to prevent them from loosening over time. Using cheap hardware almost guarantees you'll be dealing with repairs and replacements sooner rather than later.
That makes sense, especially if you think about restaurants. Imagine having to constantly replace chair screws. That adds up not just the cost of the screws, but the time and hassle of having tables out of commission while you're fixing them.
Exactly. So investing in quality hardware up front can actually save businesses a lot of money and headaches down the line.
Now let's move beyond the frame. Chi also talks about how the upholstery needs to match how the chair will be used.
He's spot on about that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want delicate silk upholstery on chairs in a busy restaurant, would you?
No.
It's about finding the right balance between aesthetics and durability.
It's kind of like choosing an outfit, right? You want something stylish, but also appropriate for the occasion.
Hmm.
A chair for a high-traffic restaurant needs to be tough, while one for a cozy home dining room might prioritize a softer, more luxurious feel.
Right. And regional preferences come into play too. What's considered fashionable or practical in one part of the world
Uh-huh.
might not be the best choice in another. What's popular in Germany might not be the best seller in the UK, for example.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've talked about the bones of the chair, the frame, the hardware.
Right.
But what about what you actually feel when you sit down?
Yeah.
Let's talk comfort. A sturdy chair isn't much good if it's like sitting on a rock.
True.
Key spends a good chunk of the article diving into cushions and foam density.
Foam density is kind of the unsung hero of chair comfort,
Huh?
Too soft,
Hmm.
and the cushion flattens quickly and loses its support. Too hard, and it might as well be a park bench.
Hmm.
It's all about finding the Goldilocks zone, not too soft, not too hard, just right.
Yeah, he even mentions that foam density is measured in kilograms per cubic meter.
Right.
That's a kilogram too for the metric fans out there.
It's important to understand this because different densities are better suited for different uses and preferences. A high-density foam will hold its shape longer and provide more support, which is ideal for a chair that will see a lot of use.
So it's kind of like choosing a mattress. You want
Eh,
something that gives you support but isn't too hard. It's the same concept with chair cushions.
Exactly. Finding that sweet spot in foam density ensures the chair remains comfortable for years to come. But comfort isn't just about the cushion itself. Chi also stresses the importance of ergonomics, how the chair's design works with the human body.
You mean a chair can have the perfect cushion, but if the overall design isn't ergonomic,
Yeah.
it's still going to be uncomfortable.
That's right. A chair that looks amazing but gives you backache after an hour is a design fail.
He says everything matters. The seat height, the backrest angle, the depth, it all affects how you feel when you're sitting.
It's all about creating a chair that supports your body in a natural and comfortable way.
And it's fascinating how different cultures have different dining habits, which in turn influences chair design. Some cultures have long, leisurely meals, while others are more quick and casual.
Absolutely. In some European countries, meals can last for hours, so chairs are designed for extended sitting. Contrast that with a more casual American diner where you're in and out quickly. The chairs reflect that difference in dining culture.
That's true. It really makes you think about how much goes into something as seemingly simple as a chair.
Oh, yeah?
We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into dining chair quality. Next up, the fascinating world of testing.
I can't wait.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how different cultures even have different chairs because their dining habits are so different. But how do we know those chairs will hold up, like meal after meal, year after year?
Well, that's where the science of testing comes in.
Right.
Key talks about the rigorous testing that goes into ensuring that a dining chair is both safe and durable.
I bet there's a lot more to it than just like sitting on a chair and seeing if it breaks.
You're absolutely right. It's a whole lot more scientific than that. There are specific tests that are designed to simulate years of use in a much shorter time frame.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There are static load tests to see how much weight a chair can handle without bending or breaking.
Okay.
And then there are impact tests.
Impact tests, what are those for?
Those are for those of us who, shall we say, plop down into a chair rather than gracefully lowering ourselves.
Oh, I am definitely guilty of that, especially after a long day.
Right, so the seat impact test, this mimics someone repeatedly sitting down or plopping down with a certain amount of force. It ensures that the chair can withstand that kind of repeated impact without the legs or the seat getting damaged.
Okay, so even if you're not exactly dainty when you sit down,
Right.
a well-tested chair can handle it.
Exactly. And then there's the backrest impact test, which is all about checking how the backrest withstands force. Imagine someone leaning back in their chair, maybe a little too enthusiastically. You don't want that backrest suddenly snapping.
That's a good point. I've definitely been guilty of leaning back a little too far in a chair and almost taking a tumble. Good to know they test for that.
Yeah. It's all about safety and making sure the chair can handle those unexpected moments. And when you see a chair advertised as meeting a certain standard, like EN or BIFMA, that means it's passed these rigorous tests.
I never knew there were so many tests for chairs. So if you see a chair with those labels, you know it's been put through the ringer.
Exactly. Those standards provide a benchmark for quality and safety, giving consumers peace of mind. But Chi also brings up something I found really interesting, which is weight limits.
Oh, yeah, those little stickers on the bottom of the chair that say maximum weight capacity.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how accurate those are. You mean there's more to it than meets the eye?
Yeah, it's crucial to understand how those weight limits were determined.
Oh.
Were they based on actual testing, or are they just estimates? Some manufacturers might be, let's just say, optimistic, in their calculations.
You mean they might not have actually tested the chair with that much weight on it?
Exactly. A proper test would involve putting a static load on the chair, gradually increasing the weight until it either bends or breaks. That's how you determine the true maximum weight capacity.
So you're saying even if a chair claims to hold a certain amount of weight,
Hmm,
it's important to know if that claim is actually backed up by testing.
precisely. And this is especially important for chairs that are going to be used in high-traffic areas like restaurants. You never know who might be sitting in those chairs, so it's better to err on the side of caution and choose chairs with a higher verified weight capacity.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that could be a liability issue for a restaurant. Imagine an overloaded chair collapsing during a busy dinner service. That's not a good look.
No.
Okay, so we've talked about weight limits,
Right.
but what about stability? I'm thinking about those chairs that seem to tip over if you even look at them wrong.
Ah, yes. Tip-over accidents are a very real concern, especially for households with young children or older adults who might be more prone to falls. Carrie goes into detail about the importance of stability testing, which is a crucial part of the overall quality control process.
So what kind of tests do they do to make sure that a chair is stable?
Well, they have these specialized tests that try to tip the chair over from different angles. They apply force to the backrest and the sides, and they even try to rock the chair back and forth to see how easily it tips. Think about someone leaning forward in their chair to reach for something on the table. You definitely don't want the chair doing a backflip.
That's for sure. I can see how a chair that's unstable could lead to all sorts of accidents.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And the factors that influence a chair's stability might surprise you. The width of the base, how the weight is distributed, even the presence of anti-slip feet. It all plays a role.
So a chair with a wider base and a lower center of gravity would be more stable.
You got it. It's all about designing a chair that's not only aesthetically pleasing, but also safe and stable.
Wow. It's amazing how much thought goes into designing a chair that can handle all the different ways people sit and move.
Hmm,
But even with the best designs, manufacturing processes need to be top-notch to ensure consistent quality. That's where quality control comes in, right?
absolutely. Key is a big proponent of having a robust quality control protocol, starting with clear inspection benchmarks.
So basically, a set of standards that every single chair part needs to meet.
You got it. It's like having a checklist for quality. They scrutinize everything. The frame, the welds, the hardware, the upholstery, the cushion density, and of course the overall stability and load-bearing capacity. Everything has to be checked and double-checked.
So it's like having a quality control expert looking over the shoulder at every single person on the production line.
That's a good way to think about it. And inspections aren't limited to just the final product either. They happen throughout the manufacturing process, from the moment the raw materials arrive to the final assembly of the chair.
So they might check the wood for defects, make sure the welds are strong, inspect the upholstery for flaws all along the way.
That's right. Catching those issues early is critical. It prevents faulty parts from ending up in a finished chair, which saves everyone time and money in the long run.
Makes sense. Fixing a problem early on is a lot easier than having to deal with a whole batch of defective chairs.
Exactly. And to further ensure quality, Chi recommends incorporating randomized spot checks throughout the production process.
Spot checks. What are those?
Even if everything seems to be running smoothly, they'll randomly select chairs from different production runs and put them through the same rigorous tests. It's like an extra layer of quality assurance.
So they might take a chair that passed the initial inspection and test it again just to be sure.
Precisely. This helps identify any hidden problems that might have slipped through the standard inspection procedures. It's all about ensuring that quality is consistent across the board.
It seems like they really go above and beyond to make sure that their chairs are top-notch.
They do. And having a dedicated quality control team isn't enough. Chi also talks about the importance of having the right tools for the job. He mentions investing in professional testing equipment, things like load testers, impact simulators, and even color fastness checkers to make sure the fabric won't fade easily.
So they have a whole lab dedicated to putting these chairs through their paces.
Yeah,
That's serious commitment to quality.
it is. But even with all the fancy equipment, it's still the people behind the tools that make the biggest difference. A skilled quality control team can spot subtle flaws that a machine might miss.
I can see how experience would be crucial in that role. It probably takes a trained eye to catch those tiny imperfections that could signal a bigger problem.
Exactly. A good quality control team isn't just about finding problems. They also work with the manufacturing team to come up with solutions and continually improve the entire process.
So it's a collaborative effort, always striving for better. It sounds like finding the right manufacturer is almost like finding a business partner, wouldn't you say?
You're exactly right. And speaking of finding the right manufacturer, Chi has some great advice on how to evaluate potential suppliers. We'll dive into that right after the break.
Welcome back. We've covered a lot of ground in our dining chair deep dive, from the nitty-gritty of frames and hardware to the science behind testing for durability and stability.
Yeah, we really have.
But now comes the big question. How do you actually find a manufacturer who, like, lives up to all these quality standards?
That's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
Key emphasizes that it all starts with transparency. You want a manufacturer who's open about their processes and welcomes scrutiny.
So no shady backroom deals or secrets. But, like, what does that transparency actually look like in practice?
Well, it can be as simple as being willing to have you visit their factory, or even just doing a virtual tour.
Oh, okay.
A reputable manufacturer should have no problem showing you how their operation works. Like introducing you to their team and giving you a behind-the-scenes look at their production process.
Right.
It's about building trust and ensuring that their practices actually align with your expectations.
That makes sense. If they're proud of their work and their facilities, they should be happy to show them off.
Exactly. And certifications also play a big role. Look for a manufacturer who has achieved recognized quality management certifications, like ISO 9001.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of ISO 9001. What does that actually mean?
Basically, it means they've implemented a system for managing quality throughout their entire operation, from design and development all the way to production and delivery.
Okay.
It's a way of ensuring that they meet international standards for quality and consistency.
So it's kind of like a seal of approval from a trusted third party.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the value of experience. A manufacturer with a proven track record, especially in your target market, will have a deeper understanding of regional preferences and regulations. Like, if you're selling chairs in Europe, you want to work with someone who's familiar with European tastes and standards.
So even with those certifications, it's still buyer beware.
Mm,
You need to do your due diligence and make sure the manufacturer is a good fit for your specific needs.
absolutely. And beyond certifications and experience, Key stresses the importance of good communication throughout the entire process.
Communication is key in any relationship, business or personal.
You're absolutely right. You want a supplier who is responsive, who provides regular updates, and who addresses any concerns quickly and effectively. It's about having a smooth, collaborative working relationship.
So it's not just about finding a manufacturer who can, make a good chair.
Right.
It's about finding a partner you can trust and communicate with easily.
That's a great way to put it. And that communication should be easy and accessible, whether it's email, phone calls, video conferencing, whatever works best for both of you.
It's about eliminating those, like, frustrating communication breakdowns that can just cause delays and headaches.
Exactly. And speaking of preventing headaches, let's not forget about one of the most crucial steps, the pre-shipment inspection. This is your last chance to make sure everything is in order before those chairs are loaded onto a ship and sent across the world.
So it's like the final quality check,
Yeah,
the last line of defense against any slip-ups.
precisely. During the pre-shipment inspection, you or a trusted third party will carefully inspect a representative sample of the chairs to make sure they meet all the agreed-upon specifications. You'll check the labeling, the dimensions, the upholstery, the hardware, no detail is overlooked.
Right. So you're basically making sure that what you ordered is what you're actually getting.
Exactly. But she points out that quality control doesn't end there. Even after the chairs are shipped, logistics and storage play a crucial role in maintaining quality.
Huh. I never thought about that before.
Think about it. Those chairs might travel for weeks across continents, experiencing different climates and handling conditions. They could be exposed to heat, humidity, rough handling, all sorts of things that could potentially damage them.
You're right. So you could have perfectly crafted chairs leaving the factory, but if they're not handled and transported properly, they could arrive all damaged.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to choose a manufacturer who understands the importance of logistics and takes steps to protect the chairs during transit. That might involve using climate control containers or proper packaging, working with reputable shipping companies. It's about making sure the chairs arrive in the same pristine condition that they left the factory in.
It's kind of like a relay race, right? You've passed the baton, but you still want to make sure the runner reaches the finish line successfully.
Great analogy. And even after the chairs reach their destination, the story isn't over. Kier emphasizes the importance of establishing a feedback loop, gathering information from retailers and even end users about how the chairs are performing in real-world settings.
So it's not just a one-time transaction. It's
Mhm.
an ongoing relationship where you're constantly learning and improving.
Exactly. This feedback can be invaluable. Maybe a certain fabric isn't holding up as well as expected, or there's a design element that could be tweaked to improve comfort or durability.
Mhm.
It's about never settling for good enough, always striving to make things better.
Yeah, that's the mark of a truly great manufacturer,
Mhm.
a commitment to continuous improvement.
Absolutely.
Wow, I never realized how much goes into creating a high-quality dining chair. It's way more than just picking something that looks nice. It's about understanding the materials, the construction, the testing, the logistics, and building that strong partnership with a manufacturer who shares your commitment to quality.
It really is. It's a fascinating process, and now, hopefully, you have the knowledge to make more informed decisions about your dining chair needs.
So the next time you pull up a chair to the table, take a moment to appreciate all the thought, all the expertise, and all the hard work that went into making that chair a comfortable and durable part of your home or business. And remember, it's not just about the chair itself, it's about finding a partner you can trust to deliver quality every step of the way.